Hello, I'm Roberto, and we are learning Rust. Today with us, like always, Luciano.
Hello.
Right. If you don't know this channel, in this channel we talk about Rust and technology. You can find a recording of previous stream on YouTube, and if you're watching this on YouTube, we stream every day, Monday, 6 p.m. Dublin time on Twitch. Today we are going on from where we left last time. We are trying to create a small tool to send a gift when somebody subscribes to a newsletter. In specific, we send the first chapter of Luciano's book when somebody subscribes to his newsletters. Last time we did the first Lambda. That was the Lambda that is creating the form and the HTML form, accepting an email and sending a request. Now we have to go on from there, accepting the post request, writing to Dynamo, writing on SQSQ, doing a bunch of coordination, and sending back a message saying okay if everything goes well, obviously. So do you want to add something, Luciano?
No, I think that's a perfect summary. We have Tommaso in the chat, so hello, Tommaso.
Hello.
So do we just switch to the code and continue from there?
Yeah, you can show the schema to explain where we are, the SVG that you made. What is an scalable on SVG?
Oh, I haven't added the screen there. Give me a second. Technical difficulties. There we go.
Do you have a scene
now
for the technical difficulties?
We should do one.
We should do one, yeah.
Okay, now you should see my code, but what I want to show you is not the code yet, but our fantastic diagram.
Yeah.
So this should represent all the different interactions we have between the different systems and the users. The only thing we built so far, except we bootstrapped all the different lambdas that you see here, the yellow boxes, but we really implemented only a first simple version of this one, the website form. So this lambda, basically, you give it a campaign ID and it renders a form that allows people to insert their email and subscribe for that particular campaign ID. So when they submit that form, they're effectively making an HTTP post request to this other lambda, which is the one we're going to work on today. Right now, this lambda just does an hello world. Of course, we need to implement some real business logic. So I'm going to copy our current requirements from here and paste them into the code as a comment.
Yeah, in reality, you are doing that, so you will teach Copilot what we want.
Exactly. Then we don't need to do anything. So these are our requirements. Now, we were debating before the stream started whether we'll do event bridge. Probably not right now, so I'm just going to say optional. And main reason for that is that event bridge is more as a extension kind of thing. So we just want to create events so that if later on we want to create additional behaviors, we can easily listen to events and do extra things without changing the rest of the business logic. But right now we just want to get to an MVP. So this is something we can add later.
Yeah, we are communicating through the queue, through the SQSQ.
Exactly. So the steps will be, we receive a post of a form. So we need to be able to process that payload. And actually, I'm really curious to see if the abstraction we have here with this response body helps us in any way or not. I suspect not, but to be seen. And we'll need to somehow deserialize then that post request. Once we deserialize it, we have an email. We need to validate that email. So we also need to look for a crate that allows us to at least tell that the email looks legit. There will be another validation later on when we send a confirmation link. But if the email doesn't look syntactically correct, we should return some kind of error at that point. Then we also need to validate the campaign ID. I forgot to mention that, which means that we can receive a post. That post will contain both the campaign ID and the
I
email.
think the campaign ID will be in the path, so we have to extract it from the path.
And basically, that campaign ID needs to exist as a record in our own database. So it needs to be a campaign that we have created before. If that's not the case, we can also return an error. At that point, we can create a subscription record. We need to create a job in a queue called send confirmation email, which basically is preparing our next step, where we can have another Lambda that gets these jobs and sends emails for people to click and confirm their subscription. And at that point, we can return a success message. Now,
if I would start from the template, adding the wiring of all our resources together.
Our template, you mean the YAML template?
Yeah, the YAML template, that one.
Okay, let's make sure we have everything there, because I think we did something, but I'm not too sure we did everything that we need to do.
We need the 2 DynamoDB tables.
So which one is it? Is the subscribe function.
We need also the campaign, because we have to validate that the campaign exists.
So we have a couple of policies here in terms of permissions. We can read from the campaign table, and this is
we have already everything.
Correct.
I thought, yeah.
We can write into the subscription table, which should be okay, and we can send a message to the queue. Then in terms of environment variables, we have the campaigns table. So this is going to give us the name of the campaigns table, subscription table, same story, email queue. So hopefully we have everything. We'll see.
Yeah. I forgot that we already did this. So cool. No need to change this at all.
Okay. I'm wondering how easy will it be to test some of the stuff locally. Just because I'm curious to see if we do a post of a form encoded body, if like what do we get in the body? Do we just get the string and we need to decode it ourselves, which probably requires an additional crate? Or
we have the structured data already.
Because we are using this Lambda HTTP. So we are not using...
I mean, that event request, what do you have inside that event? Do you have event.body as a map of string to any? No, not to any, to string to strings, probably. Try to look inside that event object.
We will have this body that could be either a empty, a text, or a binary.
But that one is the result, it's not the request.
Oh, you're right. Yes, sorry.
That event is the variable with the request.
So let's see. If we do event payload, I imagine, or what? Body. It's a generic. How do we use this? Returns a reference to the associated HTTP body.
We have to await it for sure.
And it's of type T. Okay, this is interesting. So this body, is there another example? No, that's the only thing is there.
If you await it, what you get out?
Why do we need to? I don't think we need to await it.
No?
It's not a future.
Not a sync.
Right? No, it's just a regular function. So I'm not sure what's the type though here, because here it just says T, and T of what? Where does this T come from?
T from probably needs to implement some trait to be considered a T or not.
So it's from the request. For example, the body could be a vector of U8, a stream of byte chunks, or a value that has been deserialized.
So we will already have...
Okay, let's see if there is an example here. So we have a request.
Scroll.
Expecting a request to see what was sent. This is probably what we need.
Okay, there is let body equal request body. If you scroll down a little bit, then then you do nothing with the body. Okay.
Okay, wait. The serialize a request of bytes by JSON. Let's see this one.
Here is in the case we send a JSON payload on the form, but our form is not sending a JSON payload, it's sending a normal form, a multi-part payload.
Exactly. But if we have a library that can deserialize from multipart, then probably we can do something like this. Tomas is asking on the chat, is there also a payload method on request? There might be. You are wondering if we can do like a row thing. Okay, but I think what we can do is, sorry, wrong file. Subscribe. What we can do is let body, sorry, was parts and body event into parts, and that should give us the body, right? Now what parts does, by the way? Okay, parts gives us method URI version headers extensions. We probably need something with the URI because we also want to read path parameters.
But that one we already did that in the previous Lambda, so we can copy and paste from the previous Lambda.
Good point. So what did we do here?
The campaign. Oh no, we didn't in the end.
But I think in the event we have something like that. So let's see, parts.
In the event we have the query parameters for sure, but we don't want the query
parameters. That's I think what we did. And here we can do first of, let's see, what did we call it? Campaign ID. So I think this is gonna be our campaign ID.
We can throw an exception if we don't have a campaign ID.
And this should not happen because I think this Lambda is not gonna be invoked by API Gateway if
okay, so here API Gateway will give you a 404 if you don't.
If this one is missing, in theory, to be verified.
But well, doesn't kill to add an except, no?
Exactly. No, we should do it. It's better than just doing an unwrap.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now let's assign the campaign ID to some variable.
Yes.
We have nothing to get a multi-part body out on the event or on the body.
To get, oh, you mean as a library or something?
No, I mean already in the object. Let email equal body dot something. We don't have anything in that object, or
I'm not sure I'm following. So you say if we do body.
Yeah, what do we have here as functions on this guy? Only these ones? No, we have more.
Bytes.
Those are...
Because I think this body here is an enum. Yeah. So we probably need to do...
Okay.
I think we can probably do something as text or whatever.
Yeah. And if you look directly in the event, do we have anything in the event object to extract
from maybe encoded?
From maybe encoded. Oh my god, what a nice name.
If we look directly in the event, I wonder if we have parts payload. No. But in the event, do we have payload? We do have payload. So this is going to be the raw payload that we get in the event. So I think this could be an interesting fallback. And Copilot, this is not going to be an await. So stop suggesting await.
It's suggesting to await everything. In the chat, they ask about what are the requirements. Requirements are the one from line 5 to 10, basically, of this file. We're writing the second lambda of our small tool that is taking a post request and doing stuff, validating, creating stuff.
If you miss the beginning, basically we are building like a crappy tiny version of, I don't know, MailChimp or ConvertKit. Basically, we want to manage a list of people that can subscribe a newsletter. So we already built a tiny form that allows people to send their email with a specific campaign ID attached to it. Here we are receiving that post request and validating it and start to insert the record in a DynamoDB table. So hopefully that makes sense.
Okay, so in the payload, we don't have any method to extract the email field.
I think payload is just going to be a raw thing. Ooh, option D. And D is what?
A deserialized owned of some kind. Something that you can deserialize.
But it does recognize form encoder, so that's interesting.
Yeah, that one. Serde and URL encoded from bytes. So cool. Yes, I want that.
So what do we get? Do we need to create
it gives us an optional result. So we should create a struct with an email field of type string and
we can
provide
try that.
it. Okay.
Okay, so if we try to do, what did we call it here in our form rendering?
Email.
Just email. So simple.
Easy. Yeah.
Okay, so we need to do a struct payload, and we just say email string.
Okay.
And this needs to do the serialize, I guess. And not default. I don't think we need default. Now
which the serialize we need?
The serialize, we probably need to install it because I don't think we have Serde here. So if we do cd lambdas subscribe cargo add Serde with, is the macro feature by default? I don't know. Let's see. So if we import Serde deserialize, this is going to work. Yes. Okay, so at this point, what we want to do is let payload equal
payload round bracket email square angular brackets email, or
thought that this will deserialize correctly. Oh yeah, we need to assume that it might fail.
Yeah.
So
you throw an except email not provided, something like that.
Yeah, we should handle this better, but for now, let's just do it like that. Invite payload.
Missing email.
It could also be that the payload maybe it's not formatted correctly, I guess.
That one.
Like maybe in the header you are saying that this is a form URL encoded, but then it's actually
not
broken. Yeah.
Oh, well, it will throw an exception and it's fine.
Okay, why is it still complaining? So expect a struct payload.
Because it's an option. Let is a payload is optional. You have to do Or you unwrap it, or you do if let some payload equal.
Or we do option here, and then later on.
Oh yeah, we unwrap the packet later.
Is that gonna work?
Still complaining?
Borrowing. Move value. Oh yeah, when we do this, we kind of move it. So what we can do here is event dot. Can we just get the parts?
Yeah, path parameters. We can get it there directly on the event.
Was there? Oh yeah, okay. Let's do that then. With just one dot. Okay, so that maybe is enough. I still don't understand why there is also an option.
Because we don't have an email. The fields are optional.
Because there is both a result. Like when we call this payload, there is both a result and an option. So
There is a result inside an option. Okay.
Yeah, I want to understand what's the semantic.
Oh well, let's unwrap the packet.
A payload error will be returned for undeserializable payloads. If no body is provided, okay, none will be returned. Okay, that's the thing. So it could be an empty payload.
That doesn't mean that is an error. An empty payload is just a completely missing payload. Then in your replication logic, you say if that is wrong or correct.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they add this double layer. Okay, got it.
So for now, what we can do is a double expect, and we can say payload missing, right? And then we can remove the option.
You remove the option.
We'll need to add a to-do to say properly handle these errors and return a response. Because if we panic here, this is just gonna crash our Lambda and it's just gonna return a generic 500 rather than
instead of a proper HTTP response code.
Now,
it's complaining about what there?
Why is not happy there? Oh yeah. Why did I write?
You wrote that. Okay, sorry. Too much.
Okay. Should we try to deploy this? So if we do
in the message that we return, hello vu, remove the vu from line 20. Yeah.
Let's do an entire new message and let's say hello
campaign ID and email and payload dot email.
Yeah. Do we need to do it like this? I don't think you can do.
Can't you do that inside? No.
I don't think you can, but let's try. Yeah,
it's not smart enough.
No, it doesn't do complex syntax. Okay, why is it complaining there?
What we did to the event?
Wait.
I was not able to read the error. Can you show me the error again?
So the error is saying temporary value dropped while borrowed.
The campaign ID is dropped when we dropped.
Where is it dropped? So we say creates a temporary value which is freed while still in use.
Okay, it's freed at the end of line 23.
Yeah.
Why? Why? You have to assign the path parameter variable. It happened also last time.
I think that the problem is that this is a string reference.
Yeah, but if you remember last time, you had to assign path parameters to a variable and then use that variable.
Hopefully that works. Seems happy with it.
Okay, let's deploy this.
Okay, so we can deploy. This is the response. This is our main. Sounds good. Let's give it a try. So deployment is here. Oh, unable to locate credential. What did I do wrong?
You forgot to pay your bill.
Okay.
Tommaso was suggesting us in chat to create that variable.
Yeah. Thank you, Tommaso. We did that. Okay, so we have credentials now. Build beta features. Now this might take a little bit. So meanwhile, if you have questions, we can try to answer.
It's taking a little bit to compile everything.
Yeah, I thought I did it before the stream. Maybe the compilation did go through. Did it go through? Yeah, I think so. The build succeeded, then it failed to deploy. So the compilation shouldn't take too long, but the deployment might take a little bit.
Yeah, then he should upload the artifacts.
Okay, let's see. Maybe it's not going to take so long. Because I destroyed everything after the last stream, just because we don't have any API key or any protection right now.
We are not also doing a lot, but people, yes, we don't have rate limiting in place. That is probably
Exactly.
one of the stuff that you should do before putting this out for work for real.
Mm-hmm.
How do we create a DynamoDB record for the campaign?
So we can do it in different ways. Right now, the simplest is probably to just log in the web console and create it manually.
You don't have an admin panel yet?
Nope. Okay, so we got our URL. Now, if we go into this and we just say, let's go here. Let's just say test campaign, because it could be anything right now. Oh, that doesn't work.
Zoom a little bit, it's very small. No?
Message not found. Wasn't that the URL? Oh no, was form. Was form. / campaign. Form.
Sorry, it's too small for me to read that.
Still doesn't like it. Okay, let's go here and
check the getaway if he's already up and running. But yeah, it should be, because it gives you the...
So form, campaign ID, get.
Okay. But you need the /prod?
I thought we did.
But we didn't. We changed it from API to...
stages. There you go. So default...
We changed it.
It's not, prod is not required anymore with the HTTP.
Yeah, we were in V1 and we went in V2. Yes, and so prod is not needed.
Perfect. Okay, that makes more sense. Yes, I always get confused with features of API Gateway V1 and V2.
But because also you say that V1 has some features, V2 has some other features. They don't have both of them, and it's not that V2 is a superset of features. It's a different set of features.
Yeah, I think it's a totally different reimplementation that they just called V2.
Yeah, but at least they keep the same features. Come on. Okay, let's see what happens.
A rant for a different time. Okay, submit. Hello, test campaign. Hello, test com. Cool. So the deserialization worked.
Nice.
Okay, now we go to DynamoDB and we create a campaign. And the tables, we should have two tables, the campaigns and subscriptions. If we go to campaigns, what we can do is explore table items, and this should be empty. We can create a new item. And what did we say we need? Let's go here. Campaign requires campaign ID, name, reward S3 key, email template S3 key, thank you message. So for now, I'm just going to copy all of this. We can keep it empty, but at least we remember what we need to do. So let's call it test campaign. We can add a new attribute as a string. What was the other one? So campaign ID, we did it. Name, let's just say that is a test campaign. Add the new attribute as a string. Reward S3 key. So this is going to be the key
for the
file that we need to send to the user.
Yeah.
So for now, let's just leave it empty.
Mm-hmm.
Another string. We do the email template. So basically, every campaign can have a different template saying this is the file you need to download. You can probably say it in different ways by campaign.
Yeah, like thank you for downloading the first chapter of
exactly.
Like
And the last one is thank you message. So thank you for subscribing to this amazing list. Okay, now we have this item, and in theory, we should be able to validate when we receive the post that this item actually exists. Make sense?
Yeah. So back to the code.
So back to the code. I'm still wondering if we can simulate locally. Probably we can do a little bit
Maso
locally.
was asking if there was a way to configure it from YAML, and by it, I suppose it means the schema of the Dynamo table.
The schema or the data? Because the schema, yes, to some degree, because we actually did that, so we can look at it. We did. Where is our table?
We define the keys. I don't know if we define the fields.
Exactly, and that's the thing. So here is our definition, right? So we only need to define the key and say that the key is only one field and it's of type hash and it's called campaign ID. And then we have to say that campaign ID is a string. You don't need to define attributes because it's technically schemaless. So we can create a record with 3 fields, another record with 1 field, another record with totally different fields, another record with no field. I think the only thing that needs to be there is the campaign ID, basically. It needs to be
normally, how do you solve the different schema in the same table with Dynamo? You keep a version field?
Oh yeah, there are so many ways. So there is even one way of using DynamoDB that has its own pros and cons that is called single table design, where you could even store different entities in one table.
Okay.
So just to give you a super quick example, let's pretend that we were storing both campaigns and subscribers in the same table.
Mm-hmm.
You could do that if you want to. You need to be a little bit creative, but it would look something like this. Now here we have campaign ID. You probably would call it primary key like PK and secondary key SK, but then your primary key will be something like campaign, hashtag, or whatever other separate. So this is like the entity type.
So your record type is a part of your key.
Exactly. And that allows you to mix different types.
Got it.
And then you could have, if this was the, I don't know, subscriber, it could be subscriber, I don't know, Luciano at something like that. Now you probably wouldn't put the email there. Maybe you put like an MD5 or whatever, but you get the idea.
Yes. I don't know why, but it seems very confusing in the long run.
It is very tricky to do it correctly, and it's like you really need to plan it ahead. The advantage is that you could do something that looks like a join, like with just one query. You could fetch, for instance, all the campaign details and all the subscribers to that campaign in this particular example, but like in other examples, it might be even more powerful. Now, we don't really need to get to that level of complexity for our
No.
use case, but
No.
this is just to show that DynamoDB can be very flexible if you
Use
learn
it
all these
properly.
different patterns. Yeah.
Okay, now we have to install some crate for our Lambda to read from Dynamo.
I just wanted to do this thing again, just to get the post. So payload, if we do, there you go, view source. Oh yeah, it's of course just that. So we can probably create a local event for testing later on, so we don't need to deploy all the time.
Oh, okay.
But we need to install the DynamoDB client first. And because I can never remember, let's do a quick search. DynamoDB client Rust. And that's the one. Let me make it bigger. So that's what we need to install, AWS SDK DynamoDB. We also need to install AWS config, which is the
taking care of reading the credentials for the policies of the Lambda
and
from
and all the other extra stuff, like, I don't know, if you want to configure the endpoint, because you can have you could technically even use the SDK and call a local mock, but you need to override the URL of the target server.
Yeah.
So all the stuff is managed by the config. So every client has kind of a shared layer of config, and there is a crate dedicated to that. So let's copy paste all of this into our code.
In our cargo toml for that Lambda,
which is the subscribe one. So there. And at this point, if we go back to the docs, we should see an example. So how do we create a client? We can do config, and this is like a empty config that uses the local environment variables.
Is that going to work in a Lambda? Or it needs to take the config from the policy?
I think it does that. I think from env will, it doesn't mean from environment variables, but like from the environment where you are in. That's okay. If memory serves me well.
Let's see what we have, which kind of function we can call on AWS config : open the method. Thomas is suggesting to open the method.
Let's do that. It's
you like to look inside stuff, Thomas. I know those children that takes apart everything when they are small, and then they are not able to put that back together, or they are able to put that back together.
I wonder if we use config here, is it gonna find it? No, we need to switch to the specific crate. So we need to use AWS SDK config. Was that the name? Or AWS config? Which one was it? AWS config. Wow, there is another one. I wonder if there is a two. Okay, and the name was load from env, which is this one. Load default configuration with the latest defaults. Convenience wrapper equivalent to AWS config load defaults. Behavior version latest.
Okay, so
I think they might have changed this recently, because I haven't seen this behavior version latest, which is what was suggested to us. So we kind of use that. So interesting stuff. Okay. It didn't really tell us much. So if we go to source, I'm just curious to see what it does. From env load. So let's go to from env. Config loader, default behavior version. This is like an endless rabbit hole now.
Yeah. Let's take it for granted that it's loading the right credentials.
Yeah, the other thing you could do, this is like a builder pattern. So you could like override the region if you wanted to, or provide explicit credentials, which is never a good idea, but maybe you need to do something like that. But I think this is a bit of a rabbit hole. For now, let's just trust it that it does what we want. Sorry, let me copy again that example.
If it's not doing what we want, it will just throw an exception. And,
all items. Sorry, and there. We do this. Now, there is another topic. We should probably do this in the init. So if we go to
Lambda,
sub, we probably want to do this here.
why?
And then pass, because you don't want to reinitialize the client for every single event that comes in. You just want to...
Because the Lambda can be reused. It's not meant to be closed and opened every time. It can be that serves multiple events.
Exactly, yeah. So, I mean, this is an optimization, because then we'll need to pass it here, and there are different ways to do that. And right now, because we use this signature,
you should have a function that gives you back that function and keeps the client in the context of the wrapping function.
Yeah, I think we can add here a reference to the DynamoDB client, but then we also need to do the same for the queue. So it could get tricky very quickly. Let's just try it. Let's see. DynamoDB client.
Yeah, but you don't have to pass a function to that handler down there. Okay, let's see where you want to go.
And this is going to be a reference to client, is called here. But we should probably copy all of this, because we will have multiple clients. Now, the problem is that here is not going to be happy anymore.
Yeah, because it wants a function, doesn't want a function that takes 2 parameters.
What we can do is this, where here we have the event, I believe.
Now you create closure. In this passing the event and the client.
Event and the client.
And then that client, we can rename the variable to DB client or...
And that, let's just call it, yeah, you're right. Let's just call this one DynamoDB client, because we'll need to do the same also for SQS in a bit.
Snake case? No?
Yes, because Rust.
Sorry if I'm pedantic with this stuff. Why didn't rename the variable there?
Okay, why this one is not happy? Did I mess up? Oh yeah, I did mess up with the control D.
Rename.
Okay, I'm surprised that this works without too much magic.
We'll see if it works.
Okay, now we should be able here to do the query.
Yeah.
So the first...
Also line 13, snake case that in line 13.
13, yes, good point.
I will stop. Trust me, I will stop.
Okay.
Mouse is asking if the client should be mutable.
I think it does handle internal mutability. So I don't think so, but we'll probably find out in a second. Okay, so here what we want to do is validate campaign ID. So what do we need to do is we need to
read the record from Dynamo.
Get item, I think.
Yeah, table name.
Table name, we have it from environment variables.
Okay,
Key,
that we have
campaign ID. So all of that looks good. We just need to update this one. And campaign ID
is a reference to a string, and there instead what it wants.
What does it want?
An attribute value, because you have to specify also the yes. You don't have to specify also the type when you query in Dynamo.
Yes, that's correct. which I don't remember how we do that, so we'll need to check in the docs. So using the SDK. Let's see.
This example is just initializing it. It's not. Oh God, make it bigger.
Lambda. Let's see if there is calculator.
No, this is the AWS SDK for Rust.
Examples. Is there a DynamoDB? DynamoDB.
Yeah, I hope so.
Is there a get item?
Look in the
Create, delete, error list, add.
List.
But list is probably a query. Okay, let's see what they do. Here is list tables.
What type are we looking for? Attribute value?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have attribute value anywhere in this file?
Nope.
Okay, so
I guess let's just go back to the docs. Do they have more stuff there?
try to search attribute values in this doc. If it was called attribute values, it's terrible.
I thought it was called attribute value. There it is, enum. Is there any helper we can use?
We need an S.
And just pass it, okay.
Yeah,
cool.
So we just have to put the S around the campaign ID.
YPS. And this probably needs to be owned, is it? Yeah, it takes a string, so we need to do toString. Now, can we just import it? Make my life a little bit easier.
So you just write S. No, you import the attribute value, okay.
We could also do that, but
No.
I like the enums to have the namespace.
Yeah. So you know what you're doing.
Okay, the next step is the environment variables. Right? We need to replace this one.
Take it out.
And
where we do that?
Good question. So we could do the same thing here. That here we at init time, we basically read all the environment variables, but then we need to pass here another thing. So
but reading an environment variable is not a time-consuming operation. It's not creating a client. It's just a...
Yeah, but you still need in Rust to validate that the environment variable exists and do the expect and all that stuff. So it's a bit annoying that you need to do it.
Okay, let's do that only once at the beginning.
So what I'm thinking is the following. We call it struct config. And we put here everything we need. So we need
campaign table.
Config A. We need DynamoDB client. We need the campaign table name. And that's, let's just do it a string because it's going to be owned. Then we will have similarly the other environment variable is
the subscription record, the subscription table name,
which is another string.
One is the SQSQ. What is the SQSQ?
Oh, look at Copilot. Send the confirmation email queue name. Bit long, but clear enough. And then here we will have to do the SQS client.
Okay.
And this doesn't need any derive, I guess. Debug for sure, but the serialize probably not.
No, because we are creating it.
So here what we want is config. Now, and we just get a reference to config. And now this is gonna be
42 is config dot.
There we go. And now here we need to create a config. So let's do all the environment variables first. So let, what did we call? Campaign table name. Now let's make sure that the names
That is
are
called
matching.
like that in the template, yeah.
Subscribe function, campaigns table, subscription table, email queue.
Okay, that's
So we can probably remove the name from everywhere.
also from the struct then.
Yes, so I'm going to remove it from here as well. And now, can you import this correctly? Okay, so in the struct, let's just call it campaign table, subscription table, and send confirmation. Let's just call it email queue. Let's just keep the same names. Okay, now we can do the config. Cool, and here we just pass config.
Tommaso is saying that we are missing an S in campaign.
In campaigns, this one?
But we made that singular or plural, I don't remember.
And also subscription, we made it singular, so here we say campaigns and campaigns. Yeah, good point. Good catch.
Yeah, those are plural.
So
Yeah,
let's
thank you,
fix
Tommaso.
all of that. Now this is gonna be a mess. But better to fix it now than later.
Yeah. Now, in the line 42, do we use campaign or campaigns?
Line 42, campaigns.
Oh, okay, but we still
well,
have
we
to
need
use
to replace this one. So this one is now, sorry, config dot campaigns table.
Okay, so there was nothing to fix. But it's not happy because
we need to do toString, I think.
it's not already
What
a
does
string.
it get? Something that can be converted to a string.
But it's not that already a string.
It's a string, but we cannot move it out, so a reference should do.
Okay, a reference should be enough. Cool.
Okay, we did this to do. Now, what's next?
Next is to validate the email.
So this is a get item output. Wait, we are just trying to read the record, but it might be empty. The query, right? The result of the query.
Is not doing that except failed to get. That expect is if there is an error to read from Dynamo, or is
let's see what we get.
The item can be empty.
Item is an option, so I think the item can be empty.
So could be that we have to give a 404 if it's empty. So we can do a match with some or
if
or none some item, campaign item,
or more the opposite. If campaign.item is none, there you go. Return
404 campaign not found. Reasonable.
Okay, should we try to test it locally? Or do we just deploy and test it remotely?
How do you test Dynamo locally?
Oh, it will connect to the real thing. But we need to give it the real name of the table, which is, we need to check there.
It probably is faster to deploy.
This will be the name, yeah. But let's deploy. It's probably faster at this stage.
Also because he only has to compile one Lambda and all the infrastructure is already up, so it only has to. Is updating the gateway or is recreating the gateway?
It should be only updating it. Because basically it should only update the reference to the new version of the Lambda that we changed. Like we didn't add any new endpoint or anything.
So I say that compile will be fast, and so just to prove me wrong, Rust is taking forever.
Keeping the suspense.
Tommaso say that in the end, internally it makes an allocation because it's an into string. Probably talking about that reference to the table, the campaign table name.
Yeah, I think this one table name was into string, yes.
Well, the library is made like that.
But it makes sense because it needs to construct some kind of query object that then needs to be serialized. So it's all in an async context. So it's probably just easier to do an allocation of a string than trying to keep a reference. Come on.
Still compiling? Is the SDK, is the Lambda SDK, sorry, the Dynamo SDK
that's why,
so
yeah.
huge?
It might be the one taking so long, yes.
Okay, so it's downloading the internet and compiling the internet. Okay. It moved on. Those are 35 megabytes. No, 3 megabytes. Okay. Yeah, the function and a change to the.
Perfect. The reference from. Yeah, Thomas is saying it's nice to see that AWS uses US-West-1 while Google uses US-West-1 without the second dash. There is no rules. No, I think Azure uses something entirely different. So, yeah. The joys of using multiple cloud providers. Okay, so we have deployed. So if we go back to our example here, if we do test campaign, nope.
Yeah, try to get a 404.
Let's see, test campaign not found. So this is positive. And if we do instead,
there is a payload in that message.
Which one?
The 404. Can you show me the 404 again? If you click on it, you do.
Yeah, it's campaign not found. It's just text.
It's there. Sorry. Done. Thank you.
It's text
plain.
I thought we
It
said
was not
text
text
HTML.
I remember text HTML, but no, Copilot wrote that. Go back to there.
Oh, we didn't give it any headers. So
yeah, so it tests plain if you don't say
so
anything.
we should probably do this.
But if we want to give HTML.
Fair enough. But yeah. Let's do that just in case.
It's an error.
In case we want to make it look a little bit nicer at some point.
Yeah, a fancy 404 page with Space Invaders.
Okay, yes, we should do that. Okay, hellotest.com. Perfect. So it did pass our validation at this point because we are seeing the final 200 response.
Yeah. Now, a creator to validate the email, what can we use?
Good question. If there are suggestions in the chat, I'll take it.
Otherwise with Google. We should stop Googling and we have to start asking ChatGPT.
Okay, there is this one, the first one that pops up. Let's check if they have a repo. Last time that they did update it. 60 stars.
Well,
So
2 years ago. I mean, when something is perfect, why you have to change it?
right. Okay, this is, I mean, it's probably good enough.
Yeah, but just because we are lazy and we don't want to do our own regex.
Because that will take so long.
Yeah,
If you go
regex
to
is in Rust. Sorry, but the
create,
API of regex is in Rust are not good.
and I don't think this one necessarily even uses regex. Maybe it's just doing like a parsing, something like nom. Okay, let's say email validator. What's the one with the all-time downloads? Encoding RS. No, not related to email.
No.
Check email address. This one has like 4 million.
Let me see.
A Rust script providing an implementation of RFC compliant email address new type. Okay, this one might be good. Like 2 million and something. Oh, this one is our Dart library. Why it's here if it's a Dart library?
Yeah, good question.
Okay, I'm not convinced. This one was updated over 1 year ago, but not 2, so it's more recent. Oh, we have Peddler saying there is validators. Let's check it out. I never use it. Thank you for the suggestions. So validators, this one you are suggesting, right? Does it support emails?
We say yes. We have a spot, I think, in 13 seconds.
Okay, I'm gonna snooze it for other 5 minutes. So
Okay, let's try this one and let's see.
I want to see if
How
there
to
is an
use it.
example for email. Base 64, base 64, bit, boolean, byte,
Email here.
There you go.
Email
Allow.
allow comment.
Can an email have comments? I didn't know that.
So the what is the comment?
Is
There's
this one in parentheses?
I don't know. Never saw that before. I know that you can data plus in Gmail's email, but I was not aware of comments.
Exactly, same here.
Oh, well, we have a validator. Let's use it.
Okay, let's use. I guess we can use this one if we don't want to support this syntax. Right?
Yeah, let's not support it. Let's be harsh.
So how do we install it? Because I think we need the features.
Yeah, there was top right. There was something in the page.
Yeah, well, we probably need to. So we probably need to do this with features email.
There is written in.
Sorry, where?
Top. Dependency validator features base 64. We need URL.
Yeah. So and default
No
features.
emails, not URL.
Okay, so let's just do this. Let's just do.
But also, when you do a cargo install, it's not giving you a list of the possible features.
No. You need to say features and then email, I guess. Let's see what happens. And I think we also need to say no default features. Is that the syntax? Oh no, default features false. Ooh.
Your file got formatted under your feet. Okay.
Thank you. Peddler was giving us the syntax, but I saw it too late.
But with the dash or with the underline?
Ooh, good question. Was it a dash? It was a dash. Good catch. I don't know if it works either way, but let's just play it safe. And now in our main, we can copy that example here, email. So what do we want? We want... Do we need to create this struct? No, right? I hope this is part of the crate.
But we are trying to parse into something.
So we need to copy this struct as well.
Yeah, but let's try to look if there is something in validators to... I don't know.
I think this is... We need to create our own struct where we are saying validate all the different fields using these rules.
Okay.
So it's a bit more involved than I thought, but okay.
Let's do it.
And we also need this, so I'm gonna copy everything and then we clean up. So we don't want this.
We need the host. Yes, we need the host because it's part of the struct.
And now validator, why doesn't like it? Cannot find attribute validator in this scope.
It's not line 8 that should load it.
I thought so. Cannot find derive macro validator. Is there some other thing we need to import in the features? Let's see. Okay. Does it tell us whether we can use some other feature flag? No. Here, if we go to features, let's check in the docs.
It's the only examples with emails.
Yeah, at the end there should be like a list of features generally. Derive macros. Doing available. Okay, we probably need to enable this feature. So it would have been nice if they had it in their example. Now is up.
We have an answer in 15 seconds. And this time I don't think you can lose it. Oh, now it's happy?
Yes, and again, Pedder, sorry, you mentioned that already and we didn't see it. Okay, so validator is done. We don't need this one, so we just want to use the other one. The one without comment. Did I delete it?
Yeah, you already deleted it.
Okay, so this is the one, email without comment.
Mhm.
I guess we can just call it email, to be honest.
Yeah.
And now what we want to do is we want to
validate our
Yeah.
in the payload. We have the email. We have to validate it.
We should do it probably before validate the campaign ID. So
Yes, so
we can say
we avoid a call to Dynamo in case
Mhm.
so you don't pay the call to Dynamo if the email is invalid.
Okay, so this is true. And now number one is, and the way we use it is just by creating the struct with the email, I believe, right? Was that the case in the example?
There was a parse.
Oh no, we need to call parse string. Okay.
On top of the struct that we created.
And this will give us a result, is error or not.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So what we need to do is let email validation equal parse string or str. What do we have? String, I think. Payload dot email.
We need it again later on in the function. So
is this gonna consume or pass a reference? Can we parse an str? Yes. Okay, cool. So we don't
want to consume the email because we need it later.
So this is a result. So here we can probably just do again the is error.
So if we have an error, we go with a 400 invalid email.
Okay. Do we test this?
We can't send it through the form because the form is doing validation. We should test it through a curl.
We can disable that in the form.
Okay, disable that in the form then before building.
No, we can disable just in the HTML.
Ah, yeah, in the okay, yeah. Editing the page. Yes, you're right.
Okay, hopefully we get as far as putting the email in the queue.
It shows that I don't do a lot of front end. Now, after we validate both of them, we have to create the subscription. So we will create a random UUID that will be the key of this request, of this subscription request. And we have to put everything in Dynamo and in the queue.
Yes.
Because in the queue, we just put the UUID after we saved it to Dynamo. I don't remember, it's in your graphic, the exact field that we will put in the queue. I think we designed it like that.
Yeah, I think we can just come up with any message that makes sense. But let's see if we already had an idea.
Hydrate, somebody.
Okay, we should drink.
We should drink. It's not grappa, it's water, and I have it certified.
Okay, so this was deployed.
Okay, let's go back to our form.
Let's go back to our beautiful form, which is here. Test campaign. So here we can remove the
validation.
I guess if we just do text.
Yeah.
And remove the required. Well, the required.
No, required is fine. We have to send it. It's just the type.
If we say dummy mail, is this valid? Let's put a semicolon as well. Invalid email. Cool.
Valid email.
So
And these
that's
are
a
400 if you go to the network.
good
Cool.
point. Was 400.
400. Okay, cool.
And if we do test.com, that works.
Is
Cool.
Now back to the schema, back to the real picture.
Now back to the picture. What we say we should do is create subscription record and then put send confirmation email job in the queue.
Okay, so take the list of fields that we will put in the subscription.
All of that stuff, which some of them we're not going to have the values, so probably.
Let's see.
Okay, so we did all of this here.
Yeah.
We need to do step
The
3.
ID, what we want to use as an ID? We want to use a UUID.
Oh, there is a crate I like a lot. So I'm going to show off that one, which is called ULID. This one. And it basically generates, it's like a UUID, but it's slightly more readable. Let's see if there is an example. Oh, come on, there isn't. Let me see here.
So it's like a UUID, but more readable. I saw other libraries like that.
Yeah, it's like the ones from Stripe, that it's more of a, you have letters and numbers and no dashes.
Let me see if I find the one that I'm talking about, and let's see if there is for.
There is another similar one called Nano ID in JavaScript.
Type ID is called the one I'm talking about.
But is it for Rust?
I think they have a. Try to go to their GitHub. Type ID. I think they have a.
Oh yeah,
Rust,
there is.
Yeah. If it's the same type ID, I mean, if it's not a clash of names.
I don't think it's the same.
No. Okay, but I think they have a Rust porting. GitHub, please work. Yeah.
So there is strong ID, which is strongly typed base 32 encoded IDs.
Oh, try to look for type -safe -ID. Sorry if I'm bothering you.
A type safe K sortable global unique identifier. Okay, that seems more reasonable.
There are examples or no? Why they don't add examples?
Oh, I know, Conrad. Nice.
But well, use the library that you want.
Yeah, okay, that there is an example there.
Yeah, oh, finally. So that string after the prefix is a 128-bit value like the UUID. So you can go from that string to the UUID and plus it puts a prefix in front of it to tell what is this ID. Is an order, is an item, is a campaign, is a subscription, and so on.
And I think that's where the type safe idea comes from here. Yeah.
Because when you just have a UUID in a system, you don't know if it's an order, is an item, is a check, is a payment. If you use UUID for everything, they will not crash almost for sure. But then you don't know what they are, and you have to look up in 20 tables to see what they are.
Okay, the only annoying thing is, do we need to create a static type for it? Okay, so go with yours. I mean, it is good in a way because it forces us to create, I guess, a partitioning between our campaigns and our subscriptions. But there is a bit more setup. No, fine with the one that you were talking about. I just wanted to show this one because I like this library, so I want to promote it. No, I like it. Let's try to use it. I'm not paid by anybody. Pedder is also curious to use it. Tommaso is suggesting CUID, which I haven't used it. So let's give it a quick look as well. Quid. or CUID, I don't know, collision resistant IDs.
So if they clash each other, they don't break. Cool.
Oh, I like how concise is this one when you give it slug.
So you can do long ones and short ones. Oh, the concern about performances of okay, this implementation is 20 times faster than the reference JavaScript implementation. But when in Rust you like to win easy.
Yeah, what I like is that if we were building a URL shortener, this one would be really nice as a way to generate the IDs. Okay, so which one do we go for? This type safe or CUID?
No, go with the CUID.
Okay. Sounds simpler.
Yes, sounds simpler. That's what was Tommaso saying last time continuously. Oddio, Tommaso, tell me. Do you remember
Something
last
like
time?
complexity is overrated, something like that.
You don't need this when you have simplicity.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I have to write that on the wall and do a small picture with it.
Okay, so let's generate the ID.
Yeah.
Let subscription ID equals CUID.
You don't need the type safe ID when simplicity is enough. Yeah, something like that. Exactly.
Can it
Let
fail? It's
Let
interesting.
me write it down.
When can it fail?
To create the UUID, can it fail?
Or it's just here that is going crazy? Yeah, it could fail. Unwrap.
Okay, but
What did I install?
you installed the wrong one.
Cargo install CUID. What was the name here? CUID.
But you imported something or nothing?
Oh, I know what I did. Cargo add CUID.
What you did?
Install. So I installed probably the CLI to do CUID locally. Look at that.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay, now it should make it appear.
Yeah, Pedder was saying that in the chat. We always look at it too later.
Okay, so we have the subscription ID. Now we need to create the record in DynamoDB, which is going to be fun. Look at this. Oh,
We have the schema. You pasted a comment with the schema. Where is when? Oh, you
here.
went down. Okay.
Let's follow Copilot because this might be good enough.
Keep the comment, yeah. So DynamoDB, put an item in the table, config subscription table. The item has key subscription ID and is a string of subscription ID to string because what is it?
I think
Otherwise,
this is wrong already. Because
we have the campaign ID and
we have yeah, exactly.
And subscription ID is the secondary sort key.
So campaign table, there we go. We have campaign ID and subscription ID. So we need both.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's fix this.
How you do with that with 2 keys, or is enough that you pass?
Good question, because in JavaScript you have an array and you need to pass the 2 values. And I think in Python as well. Here I don't remember how to do this.
But item, that dot item, or was it? What is it?
Adds a key value pair to item. Oh, so probably we just need to add another item.
Oh, you just needed to call it multiple times.
Is here. Campaign ID.
Oh, it's there.
campaign ID to string, subscription ID to string, email, which we say subscription ID, campaign ID, IP, we are not tracking that yet. Fingerprint, we didn't even bother figuring out how to do that. We have
Do you
email.
want to add the fields empty, or you want to not add the fields at all?
Probably we don't add them at all right now.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it complaining here, by the way? Is it deprecated?
Already.
Use quid2 instead, or switch to quid2 create. Oh, interesting. Did you know about that, Tommaso?
Already deprecated. We don't even started. Okay.
And then this one is never gonna fail, which I like it.
It makes a little bit more sense if you ask me.
Okay. So, email.
Okay, email. Then the sent at is the event when the email went out. So it's not by this Lambda. Open that, confirmed, I'm subscribed. All the IP, we can populate the IP here because it's here that we know the IP of the request.
Yes.
How do we extract the IP from the event? Should be somewhere in the event.
It's in the request context, I think. So let's see if we can get that. Let request context.
You wrote the request context.
Close enough. And I think here is going to be a bit annoying because we need to do again that match, because this one is an enum, you remember?
Oh God, yes.
So let's just copy from here.
But we deleted that from here, I think, at the end.
No, we still have it.
Oh, we still have it. Okay. Oh. So let IP equal to match.
Do we do it here?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you did IP equal match, and then you have to match the context.
Yes.
Yeah, match the context variable is called match.
We call it request context. Okay, why it doesn't like that?
You don't have to write match. The
we need to say match.
Match, round bracket, request context.
Yes.
Open curly. Yeah, then you put that inside. It's not request context, but
this is
API gateway v2. We called it like that last time. And then API gateway v2 dot. What do we have? Dot.
Come on. Seriously? Why is that no?
Type no.
So if we return that, what do we get? Do we need an extra curly brace? Oh, because we need this.
Okay.
Now this needs to be imported. Cool. Okay. Dot.
Rust analyzer. Because API gateway v2 HTTP request context, we should be able to try to go inside that one.
It is an object. We have route key, account ID, request ID,
time,
API ID, domain name, domain prefix, time.
HTTP can be in. No. What is the IP?
Context HTTP. Let's check here. This one
source IP.
Okay.
Okay.
So HTTP. Why it doesn't like it?
And what type is a source IP? Because you call it AWS API gateway with you, and the variable is only AWS API.
Yeah, let's just call it context, to be honest.
Yeah. But the type of IP is an option.
Yeah, what if we just return the option? Option string. Can we clone? Cool, now it's happy.
Okay, and if we don't have IP, we don't write the IP field, or we write,
or we leave it empty as an empty
or
string.
we leave it empty string. So
actually, here we can do cloned, and then unwrap our default, and here we say it's a string. And I think this is gonna do what we want. No? Why into either?
Try to do the unwrap or default before the cloned.
But that's gonna consume it. I think we need, or maybe it's not cloned, it's just cloned. Okay, that makes more sense. Now IP, let's do the IP. So we can do item IP
Attribute value as IP. Line 97 is complaining about a semicolon, or is complaining because life is hard?
Correct. Yes, Pedder was also saying that.
Oh, sorry, I always treat you late.
So let's leave it at that. Let's try to do a super quick test. And if it works, it works. Otherwise, we'll continue next time.
Okay, so this time we have to put the message in the SQS queue.
Okay, so let's put a quick to-do there.
Yeah, to do start from here the next stream.
Okay, let's do a super quick deployment and see what happens.
Try to send a post, and we look inside the web console, and we call it a day.
You might want some kind of notification. Yeah, I should do that. Oh yeah, I think I can enable it. Look at that. Okay, try to send me another message, please.
Doesn't work if I send a message.
Wow, no, it did read me the message.
Wow.
Which was a bit creepy. I think I can enable some softer notification.
Yeah.
Okay. Try again. Yeah, this is better. Now I have just a beep. Cool. Thank you for the suggestion.
Okay, I should do the same because I have the second monitor, but I'm looking at what the channel is doing. So.
Okay, how confident we are that this is going to work?
It's going to work. Will be a blast.
I am 50% confident.
No, I'm on the 90. I'm on the 90. If we wrote the right, if we are writing in the right table. Oh well, it will write even in the other one too. No, because we have the same primary key. So if you try a put item, is overwriting Dynamo by default? Yeah.
Good question. I'm not
By
too
default,
sure.
is overwriting, I think. It's not giving you an error row. The record already exists.
No, I think you need to specify the upsert true or something in the option.
Otherwise, he's complaining. Okay.
Okay. Pedder is confident. Thank you for your support. Let's see. And this was taking longer because we added again more dependencies.
Which one? The
CUID.
CUID and no, nothing else.
But I guess one is enough to trigger a slower compilation. Cool. This is done. Let's go here. Test campaign. We do luciano@test.com. Ooh. Well, we should have given the thank you message, but for now, let's ignore that.
Yeah,
Now,
it's not it's in the last step of our list.
Tables, subscriptions, exportable items. There we go. We have a beautiful ID, an email, and you can even see my IP. So now you know where I live.
Nice. Do you want to call it a day then?
I think, yeah, we got to almost 2 hours. So this is probably more than our usual stream time.
Let's wrap it up. You can find the recording on YouTube. The link is on Twitch in the About section. If you're watching this on YouTube, we do live streaming on Twitch every Monday at 6 p.m. Dublin time. Make sure to check the Twitch link in the YouTube description. Give us a follow so you can be notified. Feel free to leave us comments, open pull requests. All of this is on a GitHub repository. Everything is well accepted. We're trying to learn Rust, so don't expect our solution to be the cleanest or the most idiomatic ones. If you know better ways of doing stuff, please let us know. Thank you to all the people in the chat. It was funny. And are we going to rate somebody?
Yes, we are ready. So thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.